Hi, hello.
Hello.
Did you have a good Mother's Day?
Yeah, relaxing.
Yeah, I know. I know this is going to air a little bit after Mother's Day, but we're just kind of coming off of that weekend. And
yeah, I feel like all the plans I had got canceled because of snow.
Yes.
It was I'm going to step away and do a trail run or whatever. And then it was well, I can't do that now.
I know. And the week leading up to it was so windy here that I was just kind of daydreaming about having a really nice, warm, sunny weekend. And I'm going to, spend it on a nice long run and then maybe sit outside and read. And none of that happened. It was impossible.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend that was getting rid of a treadmill. And so she just asked if I wanted her older one. And I said yes, and then made John move it in the middle of a snowstorm.
Nice.
So I got a run on a treadmill, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get into it here in a second because it's funny. Our races that we're talking about today end up being snowy.
Yeah.
A little bit of that. But this has nothing to do with Mother's Day, but I keep meaning to tell you about this documentary that I watched recently. It's called 26.2 to Life.
Okay.
So it kind of combines our love of running and true crime and puts it together. But it's a documentary that ESPN aired, and it follows prisoners in the San Quentin prison that started a running club. So it's these retired running coaches that are not in jail or prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
They all found each other in prison. Okay.
No, so they're not coaching.
And how many of these coaches are going to prison?
Right.
Holy moly. There's a problem.
Okay, let's set the record straight.
Yeah.
The running coaches have not committed crimes.
Okay, good.
And they're doing community service work on their own fruition. They decided to introduce running into inmates that are currently at the San Quentin prison.
Okay.
So they started the 1,000 Mile Club is what they called it, and it's a weekly run club, and it's coached by I don't know how to say this exactly, Tamalpa Running Club. But what they do is they start January 1, and they start training all the way through the end of the year. And then if I remember right, I want to say it was in November, they run their marathon, and then they take a month off, and then they start it again in January. And it continues to grow and grow. And so this documentary just follows the inmates' running journey. But here's the thing, it's not like they can leave the grounds to go run.
We've trained them to run a marathon.
Yeah.
Let's take them somewhere.
Okay, maybe
the guards are oh my God, they have so much endurance.
Where are they running?
Yeah.
No, so they stay inside the walls of the prison, in the yard where they do all their exercises.
Yeah.
And by the time they're ready to run the marathon, to get in the 26.2 miles, they have to run 105 laps. Could you imagine how mentally dull that would feel?
Yeah.
I have a little property track, so it's about a quarter of a mile, and I get bored after 8 of those. I'm okay, I can't do that anymore. So 105.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even with our marathon that we did, you're kind of counting miles, not laps.
Yeah.
But even that, you're trying to justify, okay, I just did 5. I have, this much more to go.
Yeah.
Or, towards the end, you're okay, just another 5K, 3 more to go. It's insane, the mind games that you kind of play with yourself.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine being okay, 5 laps down, 100 more to go. Do you imagine?
No. And the other thing is that the yard is still open during that time, so there's other prisoners walking around. And
get out of my way.
Yeah, there's a lot of the times where they're nicely asking, can you please step out of the track? These people are trying to run a marathon. So there's a lot of other obstacles that are going on.
Jeez Louise.
And then during their marathon, the one that they were showing, the whole facility got put on lockdown, and you cannot move. You have to sit down wherever you're at. So just a few minutes into their marathon, they had to stop. Luckily, this one only lasted like 10 minutes before the lockdown was lifted. But that would also be a big bummer to be so close, to finishing and then whatever, you have to stop. Yeah. And then keep going again.
And also, like, the longer I'd be sitting, I'd just be like, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm done. This was good. But one of the cool things is that last year in 2023, a 2017 San Quentin prisoner that finished the marathon in 2017, he completed the New York Marathon. Oh. So, like, he qualified for that marathon because of what he had ran in the past. And there was also another one that they followed, I think, that ran Boston, like right after. He was released like 6 months after he finished his marathon.
But the prison marathon qualified him for like Boston?
Somehow. I don't know if it was like a qualifying, if you Google it, what marathons can you run to qualify? And it's like the San Quentin Marathon. I don't know, but yeah, there's been a few inmates that have been released and they've continued their running journey. And I should have written this down, but there was a statistic that very, very high, like I want to say 98% or something like that, of inmates that have done the running club, been released. So far, none of them, or like 98% of them, have not reoffended because they have like that discipline about running now.
Plus, I feel like it would be easy, depending on your offense or whatever, to give up one addiction for the other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Where it's like, I have the urge to go do XYZ. Nope, I'm just going to go run instead. Yeah. And stay out. Yeah. So, it was really cool. If you haven't watched it yet, I think it's still available on like the ESPN Plus, or I still have it recorded. You can come over and watch it. But yeah, it's a good one.
Oh my gosh. Nice.
Yeah.
Quick, just because it just popped into my head.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has nothing to do with this.
Oh, that's okay.
Have you watched Baby Reindeer?
I'm like 2 episodes in.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you finish it?
I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in.
I can't decide if I like it, but I'm so far into it now. I'm like, I'm not going to stop watching it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's about, so for anybody that doesn't know about it yet, it has nothing to do with Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, it's a pet name that this woman has given the man that she's like stalking. But it's his story. Yeah. It's not like from her point of view. But she's the stalker. And yeah.
Yeah, it's intense. I love You, but You on Netflix, YOU. Yeah. Like that stalking show was interesting, and I was watching this thinking like, man, if him and her ever cross paths in real life, man, that would be a stalking battle.
Yeah. Like stalking each other, not realizing like, nope, you're actually being stalked. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, you're stalking your stalker. Oh goodness. But yeah, I like it, and I mean, it doesn't sound like you're not gonna stop watching.
Correct.
So
yeah, don't give me any spoilers.
Yeah, but if you were thinking about stopping, don't, because it's like getting better.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I'll keep pushing through. That's funny. I'm gonna use my mental ability that I've learned from running to keep going to finish this. So,
oh my goodness.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear about your run that you're going to tell us about today. Yes. So, should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. This is Run in Her Shoes podcast with Amber
and Robyn,
where we talk about balancing life, work, and running.
As busy moms juggling life, we want to provide a community where we encourage taking time for your mental and physical health on your running journey.
Join us weekly as we talk about our favorite races, gear, and goals as amateur runners, 1 mile at a time. Okay, before we get going, I just want to have a little disclaimer that it's finally warm outside and our window is open and our children are playing outside because this is real life.
Yeah.
So if you hear screaming, like 99% of the screaming just sounds like fun
Yeah.
And John's out there with them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we'll stop for a legit emergency.
correct.
But if you can hear it,
they're fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
All right. So every year, day after Thanksgiving, Salida puts on their Christmas Mountain Run. And I guess remind me.
Okay.
When it happened last year, was it the same day as the parade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that day is always the parade.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. In my head, it was not the same day.
Oh.
And so I thought, this year it's on the same day.
Oh,
I was okay.
I think it always is.
Okay. So, which makes more sense on why it's called Christmas Mountain Run.
Yeah.
Because our town, like some towns, have like a little, I guess,
parade of lights,
mountain, hill type thing. Big S on it for Salida. And then they string up lights to look like a big Christmas tree.
Which, fun fact, it is the largest Christmas tree in the U.S. It's just not real.
I was going to say,
it's not real. It's made out of Christmas lights, but that's like their
claim to fame.
Yes.
Yes. And it is cool. They have a star on top. They have ornaments.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. So, so the day after Thanksgiving, Salida wastes no time. We start Christmas season.
Yes, we do.
So there's a parade that I feel like is okay. I feel like some years have been better than others.
Yeah. Last year was very long.
Very
long,
cold. And it was super cold.
Yeah.
And your hot hands packs were old, and I can't decide if they were working.
Yeah, I know. I tried to be prepared.
Yeah.
It was just that cold.
Yeah, true. Everyone at the parade, though, looked like they just come from skiing. Like, everyone was in their, like, snow suits. Yeah. So there's a parade, then everyone floods the streets, and we look at the mountain, and it gets lit up.
Yes.
And usually, I don't think last year, but usually Santa somewhere around.
Yeah, he rides down on the fire truck, which is the last vehicle in the parade. Yeah. But we were like, you boys will see Santa another time. I'm not standing out here in below zero weather.
Exactly.
Let's go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So earlier that day, usually pretty early, they have the Christmas Mountain Run. It's a 5-mile run. Or you can do a 1 mile.
Oh, okay.
But 5 mile. So, but they do preface that it's suitable for any type of runner because there's only like 160 feet of elevation gain.
Nice.
So it's mostly, I think, just the distance. If you're a new runner or whatever, it's 5 miles. It's a little bit more than like a 5K, you know. But we start downtown, so it starts on like the road, paved road, but then you catch trails and different things.
Yeah, kind of wind around and
yes. And what I was reading on their website was just kind of, they started the race as just kind of like one last opportunity for like a race in Salida, but to kind of promote my words that I don't have.
Like activity or whatever.
Yeah, so the goal of the race is to encourage health, fitness, fun, community connection.
After you just stuffed your body with Thanksgiving dinner.
I was so hyper aware of that.
Were you?
At Thanksgiving. Well, just like knowing like tomorrow I'm running. Yeah. How much of this like potatoes and gravy do I want to eat?
Right. Yes.
Yes.
And I
think planned on running.
I paid to run and everything, but I was coming off of the Royal Gorge race where I strained something. At that point, like the back side of my pelvis bone was so irritated I couldn't even walk without pain. Yeah. And then like I knew with the weather coming in that it was going to be icy, and I'm like, I just didn't want to push through. Or maybe I was just starting to feel better was the thing. And I was like, I just am so scared to re-injure myself because I'm like finally starting to recover from this injury. Yeah. And I felt so bad leaving you.
It was fine. But yeah, because I remember, I think we got a little bit of snow overnight.
Yeah.
But then in the morning it started to snow. And so we kept kind of checking in with each other because you were kind of like, well, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. And then it just kept snowing and you were just like,
I'm calling it.
But I think that would be anyone's luck. Like, you just are feeling better. I'm going to like slip. Because slipping on ice is one of those weird things. You're either going to catch yourself and now you've strained something from like, oh, that's a muscle I don't normally use. Or you fall.
And who knows what happens then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So tell me more about it because I missed out.
But it was funny because of all this snow, I feel like people weren't there early to like mingle and like hang out. So when I got there to check in, because I wasn't waiting for you, no offense, or anyone else, I just got there very early. Yeah. Like checked in and then it was like no one else was there. It's snowing outside. I felt stupid standing around like in the scout hut where they were checking people in. You know, like no one was there. Yeah. So I went in my car and watched something on my phone. Nice. And then, you know, like 10 minutes or before whatever, went back and then it was like super crowded because no one was outside. Everyone was inside and there was like long line for the bathroom and blah, 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 all this stuff. Yeah. Then we all get heard outside, you know. And I think it had stopped snowing by this time, but there was a good amount of snow on the ground now. So, you know, they send us off. Somebody was quoted in the paper and being like, people were slipping all over the place. I mean, I wasn't up front and I wasn't trying to like run my fastest in the snow, so I don't know.
You were not slipping all over the place?
No, I didn't slip until coming back into town. Oh, no. I took like a corner, I think a little too hard. And just did like, ooh, you know. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't fall, but just kind of like, ooh. Yeah. Yeah. But no, it was a good race. First time running in like snow, I think. Because I think I had ran, you know, like my morning runs. Yeah. You know, in the snow, but like the roads clear pretty fast. So you're not really running on the snow. Right. You're running like on cleared roads. And I don't like running when it's snowing. It just feel like you're going fast, but it's annoying.
Right. It's like this weird Star Trek-y tunnel vision thing.
Yeah. And then I assumed they were volunteers, but at one point you run around Fusa, so this little like lake, and then across like the parking lot on Fusa's, we caught like this little trail that like popped you up. Yes. So it was this good little.
That was your only elevation gain.
That was the 160 right there. Yeah. But at the very top, they had like a cardboard cutout of Buddy the Elf.
Oh, I remember seeing that picture.
So that was really fun. And then when you went around the corner, there was just a volunteer to like make sure you went the right way. And her sign said, "Running's my favorite." Oh yeah. So it was really cute. But yeah, and then you just ran back into town. So it was a nice mix of all different terrains, and then it wasn't very hard. You weren't doing a lot of hills, so. But it was just funny because I feel like most races, people are standing around the finish line. You're waiting for everyone, or you're cheering people on or whatever, and it was like no one.
No one was there.
No. It's like went across, got my like finisher's ribbon.
Oh yeah.
And, and just went inside, got my banana. Yeah. And left.
Oh, but I mean. That it's a good distance to race, and especially like coming off such a great year that we had with all the races, to like finish it out with a good 5-mile race. Yeah. You were just dedicated and didn't care about the cold and snow.
Because were we signed up for the challenge yet?
You had, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was on our radar yet. Okay. That we were going to start in January.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember. I mean, obviously you were like, I don't want to re-injure myself, but I was trying to think if we had something on the horizon as to why you didn't want to re-injure, if you were just like, I want to keep running.
Yeah. I think it was just I want to keep running, because every time it would start to feel a little bit better, I would go for like a little run again, and the pain would just come back instantly. And meanwhile, I would come in and sulk and apparently be in a bad mood. And I was like, okay, I'm already this many weeks into not being able to run, and we're so close to being done. I just didn't want to overdo it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully this year will be better. And I'll be able to join you.
Yeah. My race photos, though, were just, like, ridiculous. I was way too bundled, because I just thought we're running in the snow.
Yeah.
It's going to be cold. I had too much on, and I have no idea where this photographer was. Like, was he in one of those, like, ghillie suits?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, you never saw him?
No.
Oh, surprise race photos.
Yeah, and I should try to find it. I don't even know, like, where this is at on the trail. But so much of the trail looked, like, when you're running around Fusas, that looks a lot the same.
It does.
So it's like, I have no idea. But, like, I was so red, just because.
I bet he was sitting in a car.
Oh, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to stand out for that long.
Right, waiting for all the runners to go by.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Live and learn.
Yeah. Overall, it was really fun. It just, the weather, but whatever.
It's life.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I felt about the run that I just did.
Right.
I kept going back and forth. Like, well, are we going to do it? I don't know. It looks like it's going to be really snowy. Looks like it's going to be really rainy. Like, I don't know. Back and forth.
Yeah.
So ours, I say ours because I got to run it with my mama around Mother's Day. But it was the Endura Mamas, sponsored by One Love, or like vice versa, race. Mm-hmm. So it was local. It was up in Buena Vista. And we've run a ton of the One Love races around here. And then this one was new. It was put on by Jenna Jones. She's a local physical therapist and runner. And her whole mission is to focus on empowering endurance athletes and active moms as they reclaim their athleticism in motherhood and beyond. Nice. So it was just like a fun, themed Mother's Day race.
Gotcha.
And it was going to be a 5K. They also had a 1 mile fun run with kids. But let me back up with how rainy it was. This was like the start of the Snowmageddon that we just had, where like we lost power for a day basically because so much snow was on the trees and then down trees and all the things. So it was like really, really overcast. It had rained the night before and must have been raining somewhat that morning too, because all the kids that showed up for the fun run, before they even started their fun run, they were soaked because they were just jumping in puddles. Yeah. No, they wanted to. So they just had like on their little rain boots and they were just a huge muddy mess. It was really cute to watch. But Mom and I got there early enough also. The same thing when we went inside to pick up our bibs, like no one was in there. Mm-hmm. Everybody was probably just sitting in their car waiting to see what the weather was going to do. But we got our bibs, and this was Mom's like very first race either. So that was just fun to like go through the process with her too. Get all checked in and stuff. And the course was this newly redone trail in Buena Vista. And like the next time you and I are like, hey, let's go for like a Sunday run together just for funsies. Yeah. I'm going to show you this trail. It's so pretty. A lot of it was kind of this really smooth gravel trail, but they just made it ADA accessible also. So it's very wide so that anybody that has a wheelchair that wants to go through it can. And then it kind of curved down and went on this a little bit rockier trail that followed the river. And then there was like some different loops and out and backs. And I was glad that there were lots of people telling you where to go because, again, it's not one that you can like easily follow the map on because of the trail and everything. So there was some areas where you were doing an out and back, but it was just like a smaller out and back loop to get to your distance. Gotcha. It was kind of interesting. But as we were crossing the finish line also, there was like no one there. There was a sweet little kid that was handing out Mother's Day flowers. Oh. I know, that was cute. And then the photographer was at the end too, taking pictures. But because it was Mom's first race, I asked her if she wanted to talk about anything like her experience, and she wrote in. And we'll preface this too by saying that they spend their winters in Arizona because of everything we just talked about, of how cold and windy it is. So this was their first weekend back. Yeah. And she was like, oh boy, that elevation, I felt that the whole time. Yeah. Coming up from, I don't know what the elevation is in Arizona. I think she talks about it. So she shares that for Mother's Day, my daughter Amber asked me to join her in a local 5K. Of course, I'm not going to say no. I love time with my daughter. However, I have never run a 5K. I've walked, hiked 5K, and then some. So, of course, I can do this, right? She said, I did not consider that I have been in Arizona for the last 6 months where the elevation is 3,000 feet. She goes, this 5K was at 7,965 feet. So she said it was hard. I didn't run the entire way, and to be honest, I'd say I ran a quarter of the 5K would be a stretch. So I did pace it out. Like, let's try and jog for, 2 minutes, or like to that pink sign, and then we'll do like a 2-minute walk break, and then we'll do that because I didn't want to overexert my mom on this trail. But she said I did pretty good walking, aka wogging pace, because my mom's a fast walker. I don't know if you've ever walked with her, like on a exercise. She's little. We've talked about this before, but she can move. So we were walking really fast. She said, my sweet daughter paced herself with me, even though I know deep down she was raring to go. After completing a 5K in 44:09, I must say I'm pretty proud of myself, and I'm even peeking into what it takes to start training for a 5K at, yes, a running pace. These girls of mine, Amber and Robyn, have not only made me so proud, but they have inspired me to ponder on being a runner and joining them in the future on a 5K. She said, it's never too late to take care of yourself. I think about the running high that I have experienced on the treadmill, so maybe it's time to push and take it to the next stride. So, yeah, nice. It was just a fun experience with Mom. And then we got these really cute trucker hats. Mom got a black one. I got this like bright blue one. And then we were ready to eat afterwards. So, when we got done though, there was a raffle, and they were giving away tons of prizes. Like they had massages, they had gift cards, I think to 7,000 feet running also. They had like gift certificates to some local food places, and then their main prize that they gave away was tickets to Mount Princeton for like a day spa thing. So that was cool. I won a thing of chocolate. Nice. Yeah. But after that, we were ready to eat, so I took her to Tony's Waffles, and she's hooked now too. Yeah. So good. Delicious. So, yeah. Well, I did a quick deep dive on an upcoming race. Not upcoming. I'm sorry. I was like, where are my notes? It's already happened, but why am I so bad about time too? But it keeps popping up on my feed of all these people posting their pictures that they finished it. It's called the Flying Pig. Have you heard of this? Apparently it's one of like the biggest races, but it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. And when I looked it up on one of the websites, they were talking about how to carbo load. Okay. Cincinnati style. Oh. Have you ever tried this? It's noodles, like spaghetti noodles with chili on top. And the chili has this meat sauce that has like a cinnamon and chocolate hint to it. So it's like full-on tomato-y based chili, but with cinnamon and chocolate served over a pile of noodles. And then they pile it high with shredded cheese. I mean, I don't think I would knock it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that like our cinnamon rolls and chili is weird.
I know.
And it's delicious.
Okay, but do you eat your cinnamon rolls on the chili?
Me personally, I pull it apart and dip. Oh. What do you do?
I just go back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like just a compliment too.
Yes.
Yeah, so it might be weird to like cut up a cinnamon roll and top it with your chili. Maybe. I don't know. It's an option.
But, well, I just think about like sometimes we make spaghetti and we make meat sauce.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, to me, what that sounds like.
Sure.
There's just some added flavors in there.
Yeah.
That we're not used to.
And then the cheddar cheese, though. That's also, I mean, cheese is good on anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we try it. But that's how people carbo load Cincinnati style.
Okay.
There. But the Cincinnati Flying Pig Marathon, it happens every year, the first Sunday in May. And it was founded by this guy. Coming up. Oh my gosh. We're not even like recording ahead of time or anything. Yeah. It totally already happened. My dogs are saying hi right now too. But anyways, it was founded by Robert J. Coughlin. And it was first held in 1999. And it's the third largest first-time marathon in the United States. In 2008, it had nearly 5,000 finishers. And total participation for all weekend events, like through 2011, just to show how much it's grown, was over 30,000. So it's really grown. The race starts and finishes in downtown Cincinnati. And like fun points is that it crosses into northern Kentucky. Okay. So you got to cross state lines. And it's also a qualifying race for Boston Marathon. But yeah, it was a really big deal. I saw a lot of people that we follow on Instagram that were like talking about their training for it that was coming up. We love fun names of races. And it had a really cool medal too. Nice. But in recent years, they've also added a 5K race, a 10K race, a half marathon, and then a 2-mile flying fur event for dogs and humans. Oh, nice. So I don't know if you're like running with your dog or if you just like set them free and say see you in 2 miles. I'm sure you
like
run.
That would cause a lot of problems.
It would. Sounds a little chaotic.
Like those inmates that are running around
on the loose. But the 5K and 10K are held on the day before the marathon. So if you wanted to do both, you could. Mm. And then the half marathon starts and finishes at the same locations as the full marathon. It's just like a shorter route in the same day. Nice. So that one looks like a fun, like Midwest one. I've never been to Ohio. Have you?
I'd have to look at a map.
Like to see if you've driven through it.
Yeah.
Nothing about Cincinnati like rings a bell for you?
No.
Okay. I mean, I honestly don't know what there is there to do.
Yeah.
So, and John's trained me to not like Ohio State football.
Oh.
So I hear Ohio and I'm just like, oh no, can't do that.
Yeah.
Ooh. But maybe one day we'll do the Flying Pig.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Let's move on to some fast facts.
Okay.
I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
This one, I don't know if you would know this off the top of your head or not, or if you've been told anything about this, but it kind of brings me back to Love is Blind, the last season.
Okay.
Where, what's her name, said she looks like Megan Fox.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like you have a celebrity doppelganger?
No.
No?
No.
I mean, I'm really bad at, like, celebrity names. Even to be like, oh, it's like that one.
Yeah.
But, okay.
No, I don't think so.
So you're in Love is Blind for whatever reason, and they're like, who do you look like? Like, I'm just so unique.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, this would be a stretch, but I've been told before that I look like Melissa Joan Hart.
Okay.
Kind of, I don't know. But I was also a lot younger then. I feel like as I've gotten older, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, maybe I could see it.
Okay. Okay, well, this next question. Have you ever met someone famous that you're, like, really excited about? Or, like, run into anybody famous?
I mean, I'll apologize ahead of time. It's not something I'm excited about.
Oh, okay.
But just, do you remember, I don't even know, like, I had their one CD. I don't know if they had any others, but do you remember the band, was it called Bewitched?
I mean, vaguely. Was this like late 90s, early 2000s-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like a girl group. There were like 5 girls or whatever. And like we ended up at the same hotel.
Oh.
And
where?
In Washington.
Oh.
And I didn't even like know who they were. The person I was at the pool with was like, I think that's that band. But I was the one that went up to them and was like, are you like those people?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah.
And you think they were telling the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was enough of them, plus they didn't have like an entourage, but there was enough people. Oh. Do you know what I mean? Assistants there. You know what I mean? That it, I believe them.
Okay. That's fun. Did you ask for an autograph or anything?
Yes. And they were like, oh, we'll hit you up like in a little bit. Like we just got to the pool and it was fine. We ended up like going back to our room to get changed and then coming back and like waiting around, and we got like photos with them or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have any idea where they are now? Like the photos, not the band.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think they've since broken up. I don't know. But that was so long ago that it was like a physical photo.
Oh my god.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I have no idea.
Oh yeah.
Where that photo ended up at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have met Charlie Blackmon.
Who the fuck is that?
I had a feeling that's who you were going to say. He plays for the Colorado Rockies.
Okay. And
this was, trying to think, it must have been before John and I had Jeremiah. Has it been that long? We or maybe it was, I can't remember the time frame of this and if we had Jeremiah yet or not, but we went back to, and I say went back to, but the Grizzly Rose, which is a bar in Denver.
Okay.
Which happens to be where John and I met. Mm-hmm. And we were like out, I think we went to a Rockies game. I know, it's all coming together now. I had just graduated from nursing school. Okay. So I had not had Jeremiah yet. And then like for a graduation like party get together, we decided to go to the Grizzly Rose. Okay. And yeah, we like looked over and Charlie Blackmon, he is very tall and has a very distinct large beard. Okay. And so us and then some of the people we were with, we were like, is that Charlie Blackmon? Is it? And like the guys were so starstruck and like nervous to go ask. That's funny. But finally, John and one of his friends went up and was like, hey man, like being all buddy with him, and then asked if they could take a picture with him. And it was really interesting. He agreed, but he said, we have to make sure that there's no, like, bar signs or anything around me. Like, I want this to be a classy type picture. Like, I don't want it to say, like, Bud Light behind us or something, Right, yeah. So we had to stand in, like, an area that was black kind of against the wall, and we got a picture with him. Yeah. And then the other person that we've met in Salida, did you ever watch Gold... Now I'm going to forget the name of it. I want to say Gold Diggers, but that wasn't the name of it. Gold Rush. Did you ever watch Gold Rush?
I've caught some episodes here and there, but I remember when it was like the thing.
Yes.
Everyone was watching it.
Everyone was watching it. So after it kind of was starting to die off, John and I went out to dinner at Quincy's. It's this steakhouse in Salida. I don't even know if it's still like functional, to be honest with you, the steakhouse. But it was the weekend of fair, and John and I are like going out on a date. We only had Jeremiah, and I like look over and I'm like, honey, I think that's, and now I can't even remember his name, but it was like the bigger guy that had the really big gray and white beard. I'm like, I think that's him. And so we ended up going up and asking him like for a little autograph, and I think he signed something, not like a receipt, but I don't know. It was like very random. Yeah, and the restaurant, it's so dark anyways, so it was just kind of, yeah, it was funny. So we met him, and then the next day I found out I was pregnant with Penn. So that's like what I wrap all of those events around. Yeah, I have to look up his name.
I did meet one of the guys from 303.
Okay, well, I don't know what that is.
It's a band.
Is it a Denver band? Because it's 303?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they came to Italy.
Oh, wow.
Sang on bass. And I was in the KNIX, like the shopping center, volunteering with the dental office, and he like walked by, and I think me and another girl were talking about them, and he was like, well, that's my band.
Wow.
And so we got pictures of them like throwing up their sign.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I wonder if it's on my timeline, because that was recent enough that I have like a Facebook page and stuff.
Right, to post it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to Facebook stalk you.
Okay.
See if I can find it. Okay, next question. What is your least favorite food?
I don't love avocados. Don't come for me.
I know. I could eat them every day.
I know. It's just not something we ate at my house when we were younger. So
okay.
I don't think to reach for them. And then I just, don't love them.
Okay.
Okay.
Remind me though. Do you like tomatoes, or are tomatoes not your thing either?
I like them like a very specific way.
Oh.
Like I don't mind them in a BLT.
Okay.
But they can't dominate the sandwich.
Okay.
You know, like I don't mind them in a burger. I don't love them on salad because I feel like the taste is too dominating.
Okay. We don't like dominating tomatoes.
No. Submissive tomatoes. Only. Yeah. But like when I'm slicing tomatoes for dinner, like Jesse will come over and just eat.
Yes.
You know, put salt on them and like eat the remaining. And I don't get it.
Okay. What about like fresh out of a garden tomato where like the flavor's just so good?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
I'm still slicing it and putting it in that BLT.
Okay.
In a very portioned, thought out, planned out slice.
Okay. Good to know. Here we go. I don't like sushi. Also, don't come at me.
Yeah. I mean, same. I don't.
Because we didn't grow up eating it.
Yeah.
And just like, why would you eat seaweed? Why?
There are other things
I
to
know,
eat.
but also raw fish. Like, I just think, do you want to wind up in the hospital sick?
Oh, I've eaten raw fish, but plain, fresh caught, like in Hawaii, we caught it, we ate it. I could, like, it wasn't like so good that I'm like eating raw fish all the time now, but yeah, I don't get it. Also, it's a weird food to eat. Like how people eat it. Like we put the whole thing. Like it's just. Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't like to take big bites of anything.
Yeah.
And so to think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just plop this whole piece of raw fish in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like no, I can't stand the texture. I can't stand the smell. That's a no for me.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's such a thing here.
Yes.
There's this whole sushi culture. I remember before we got the sushi place or the place that carries sushi or whatever, people would talk about, you know, like, oh, they went to Canyon or they went to wherever and like, gotta get sushi. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like an event. Like I'm going to drive this far.
Yeah, because I mean, we have a handful of restaurants here, but definitely if we go to bigger places, I'm like, well, we gotta get this.
Right.
Because we don't get to have it all the time.
Yeah, sushi is not on that list for me. No. Okay. All right, next question. Yeah. Do you feel like you're good at keeping secrets? Look at that giggle. I ask you mid-drink.
Yeah. I'm good at keeping the important secrets.
Oh, that's the best answer you could possibly give.
Yeah. I have secrets that, you know, but I feel like I also, like you or my sister or whatever, like there are some things that are like, I mean, you can tell me, but
yeah.
I've already told her, like,
right.
It's already been sent in this text, like, sorry.
It was there. Yeah. No, same. I feel like the really big ones, like, I'll keep, but then also, like, doesn't everybody just have, like, a circle of, like, your husband, your sister?
Yeah, you just have to know that that's...
Like, if you tell me, you know that it's going to these at least two other people. Yeah. And probably my mom. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Oh, that was very quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind pie, but again, that was something that I've only recently have been into. I was very anti-pie as a kid. Like I just would not eat it because I think it's warmed fruit. As a kid, I couldn't like get past that, and it just didn't sound good. So I was just like, no thanks.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I love the crust.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
Okay. I, like, my gut instinct is to be like, yeah, cake also. But you know what? I go to so many kids' birthday parties these days. And the cake, it's just like, you know, like store-bought cake. No. I'll take a store-bought pie over a store-bought cake any day. But I also love, like, your cupcakes.
Thank you.
And your cakes. Like, homemade and from you, I choose cake.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit why I choose cake, because they're pleasing to the eye. You know what I mean? If they're decorated so pretty, it's part of the experience.
It is. Yeah. I mean, pie could be too, but that's like real intricate dough work.
Yeah.
That I don't have the patience
It's not
for.
as common.
Correct.
As a pretty cake.
Yeah, you're right. Which, by the way, we need to get together and have you make something soon. I've missed your treats. Okay. Just saying. All right. Well, this episode, we're going to finish up with a listener story from Jen P. And she is from Montana. She reached out on Instagram and wanted to share her story, and it's such a good one. So her story, like many others, began after, having a baby or having her last baby. So for her, she had her last baby in 2019, and she was finding home workouts online and attempting to pave the way for a healthier life. And she felt like running found her by that summer and fall. She said she had a few friends who would go running and invited her to join a few times, and she was hooked pretty quickly. But they didn't have a treadmill, and with 3 kids at home and a husband that commuted an hour each day to work, her time to run outside was very limited. So she dabbled for a few months and decided to set a goal to run a local 10K the following March. And she started training as best as she knew how, and even joined a gym so that she could run on the treadmill. But she said, if you've noticed my timeline, this race fell on the second week of March 2020, which was the pandemic. Yes. So she says, hello, pandemic. The world literally shut down 2 days before the race, so she never got to run it. And we had another listener story earlier that said the same thing. It's like, I put in all this work and training and then nope. So through 2020, she started running for her mental health, and it became her only me time while quarantining with her husband, 3 daughters, and 3 dogs. I feel that. She said, I realized how important running was for me and how much better I felt afterwards. And let's be honest, how much more pleasant I was to be around after I got in a regular run. Running became her therapy. And when the world opened back up, she couldn't wait to try out a few races. So she started out with a few local 5Ks and surprised herself by having a pretty good pace. Holy moly, she said, I ran my first in-person 5K in 23:37. Wow. That's impressive. So since that first in-person 5K in October of 2021, she's ran 8 5Ks, 2 10Ks, 1 15K, 5 half marathons, and 1 full marathon. She said her favorite race was her half marathon in Missoula, Montana, where she set her half PR. It was a gorgeous course with an incredible community to support it. So I might have to look up that one. Missoula, Montana half marathon. She said, running has made my life so much better on so many levels. It's introduced me to the running community, which I'm forever grateful for. And it's allowed me to show my 3 daughters how important a healthy lifestyle is and how awesome it is to set goals and work hard to achieve them. She said, it's helped me manage my anxiety and help my self-esteem. Running continues to show me that I'm capable of more, and it's truly changed my life. And I hope to continue running for the rest of my life. So I love that one. Yeah. So.
All right, a nice short, sweet one today.
I know, it was a shorter one. I'm sure we'll be talkative again for the next one. But if you guys have a running story that you want to share, you can always find us on Instagram or email it to us at runinhershoes@runsister.com. So, and I love that we say this one was short and sweet, but it's still what are we at, 45 minutes?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening to Run in Her Shoes. Run in Her Shoes podcast is produced and edited by Amber Linza and Robyn Ogden. It's time to run, sister.